Europe most watched wedding. Princess Leonor of Spain royal day in Denmark. The world expected another royal wedding, grand, traditional, and predictably perfect. But when the bells of Copenhagen rang out on that crisp spring morning of 2025, something entirely different unfolded. This wasn't just a royal ceremony, it was a moment that united nations, redefined love, and silenced Europe in awe. The wedding of Princess Leonor of Spain became the most watched royal event in years, not for its pageantry, but for the emotion, elegance, and meaning it carried. From Madrid's plazas to Copenhagen's historic palaces, millions tuned in, waiting for a glimpse of the young woman who will one day wear Spain's crown. But what they witnessed that day went far beyond royal protocol. They saw vulnerability, devotion, and a future queen stepping into her destiny with grace and heart. As dawn broke over Denmark, the city of Copenhagen glittered like never before. The royal guards lined the cobblestone streets, banners of Spain and Denmark intertwined, and the air was thick with anticipation. This wasn't just a celebration of love, it was the merging of two royal worlds, one built on centuries of tradition, and another led by a new generation eager to redefine what monarchy means in the modern age. Inside the palace, Princess Leonor prepared quietly. No cameras, no crowds, just her mother Queen Letizia, and her sister Sophia. Witnesses say the atmosphere was emotional. The queen, usually poised and regal, was seen holding back tears as she adjusted Leonor's veil, whispering words only a mother could share at such a moment. For Letizia, this was more than her daughter's wedding, it was a symbolic passing of strength, a reminder of the responsibility Leonor was born into. Meanwhile, outside, Europe waited. Over 200 million people watched live broadcasts across Spain, the UK, Denmark, and beyond. Commentators called it Europe's fairy tale of the century, but what made it even more powerful was the authenticity behind the perfection. When Leonor appeared at the top of the palace staircase, wearing a gown that blended Spanish craftsmanship with Danish simplicity, the world held its breath. Designed by Spain's most celebrated designer, the dress symbolized harmony, delicate silk embroidery inspired by Spain's royal heritage, and light Nordic lace representing her new life in Denmark. Every stitch told a story of unity. And then came the moment, the first look between Leonor and her groom. Cameras captured it all, the soft smile, the shared breath, and the emotional exchange that needed no words. It wasn't the grand gestures that moved people that day, it was the quiet humanity behind them. As the ceremony began, royal traditions met modern love. The Spanish royal anthem echoed through Copenhagen's royal chapel, followed by a Danish choral blessing. Two nations, two languages, one shared future. Leaders and monarchs from across Europe watched with admiration, King Charles of the UK, Queen Margrethe of Denmark, and even representatives from royal houses long thought distant. But amid the splendor, whispers filled the royal corridors. This union, while celebrated, carried immense diplomatic significance. Insiders say it's not just a love story, it's a bridge between two influential royal houses seeking to strengthen Europe's cultural ties in a changing world. And yet, none of that mattered to Leonor at that moment. Her focus was on love, pure, genuine, and deeply human. Those who stood close say she looked calm but emotional, her eyes shimmering as she said her vows. Her voice didn't tremble, instead, it resonated with quiet strength, a reflection of the future queen she's becoming. The moment the couple exchanged rings, the chapel erupted in applause, a break from centuries of royal restraint. Even the guests couldn't hold back their emotion. Some said it was the first time they'd seen such warmth at a royal wedding in decades. Outside, Copenhagen erupted in celebration. Church bells rang, crowds cheered, and fireworks painted the sky in red and gold, the colors of Spain. The streets overflowed with people waving flags, singing royal hymns, and celebrating what many now call Europe's royal rebirth. But perhaps the most touching moment came later, during the royal balcony appearance. Leonor stepped out hand in hand with her husband, her tiara glimmering under the soft northern sunlight. She looked down at the sea of people, Spaniards, Danes, tourists, children waving flowers, and for a brief second, she seemed overwhelmed. Then, in a gesture that broke royal formality, she placed her hand over her heart and whispered, "Gracias." The crowd roared. It was simple, but deeply symbolic, a moment of connection between monarch and people. Behind that public image, however, lies the story of a young woman who's spent her life under the spotlight, balancing duty and personal desire. Princess Leonor's journey to this day was not an easy one. Since her teenage years, she's carried the expectations of an entire nation, trained for leadership, educated for diplomacy, and prepared for a life where every move is scrutinized. But on this day, the world didn't see a future monarch under pressure, they saw a woman in love, ready to step into her own story. After the ceremony, the royal reception became the talk of Europe. Set in Copenhagen's historic Christiansborg Palace, the dinner brought together royalty, politicians, artists, and close family friends. The table decor fused Spanish elegance with Danish minimalism, olive branches from Madrid intertwined with Nordic flowers, symbolizing unity and peace. Queen Letitia's toast was emotional and deeply personal. She spoke of Leonor's childhood, her discipline, her kindness, and the pride she felt seeing her daughter embrace both love and duty. King Felipe, too, delivered heartfelt words, addressing the groom directly, calling him a son not by blood, but by choice and trust. The entire room reportedly stood in ovation, a rare display of genuine affection at such a formal event. As the night progressed, the tone shifted from regal to relaxed. Guests danced, laughed, and shared stories of the young couple's early romance, a relationship that began quietly during a diplomatic visit and grew away from the public eye. Their bond, insiders say, was built not on royal protocol, but on friendship and shared purpose. The next morning, European newspapers were unanimous: a new royal era has begun. Headlines from London to Paris, from Oslo to Madrid, all captured one thing: that Princess Leonor's wedding had reshaped the meaning of modern royalty. It wasn't just the ceremony, the gown, or the grandeur, it was the emotion. The sincerity. The glimpse into a monarchy finally ready to blend tradition with heart. Analysts now call it the Leonor effect, the way her authenticity has revived interest in royal institutions across Europe. Younger audiences, once disengaged from royal life, are now drawn in by her relatability and humanity. As the couple departed for their honeymoon, leaving Copenhagen behind, one thing was clear: this wedding wasn't an ending, it was a beginning. A promise that the future of Spain's monarchy will not be defined by politics or titles alone, but by empathy, unity, and purpose. And so, as the lights of Copenhagen dimmed and the world slowly moved on, one image remained: the young princess, waving softly from her carriage, her eyes filled with hope. A leader not born of privilege alone, but of heart, humility, and love. Princess Leonor's wedding didn't just unite two families, it inspired a continent. And for Europe, 2025 will forever be remembered as the year love became royal again.